You see how that works? And also to let you know, we're not here today. Go ahead, one click. And we're not here today. I think most of you know the answer is China. And we're not here today to try to give you another session about how China and India is going to overtake America and our educational system. Here's what we want to share with you today, that the third largest nation in the world, if it were a nation, would be Facebook. Facebook's adding 600,000 users per day. If it were a nation, Facebook would be the third largest nation. Okay, Liz? We're not going to ask you to text this. We actually had a poll set up, but again, for the sake of time, we're not going to do that. What is the fastest growing segment of Facebook users?
4.
Anybody want to venture?
4.
I hear 4. I saw a 3 somewhere. I saw a 2. I'm seeing 2. Lots of 2s.
Yep.
The answer is women, 55 to 65 years old. This is one of the few times that I can think of that emerging technology has been co-opted by an older generation and has literally put it to the tipping point of what we see. State legislators, Dr. Holliday, you don't have to deal with state legislators never. A couple of my colleagues and myself were in a meeting this past week over the drug testing bill. If you've been familiar, there's a bill been introduced that if people are going to receive public benefits, they must pass a drug test. And we had some local agency people in our community that were very concerned about that. Rightly so. So they called our local representative, asked for a meeting, and Bo Matthews and myself were at that meeting. And what he asked them was, why is this such a big deal now? He said, I've introduced this bill 2 or 3 times before. Why is all the generation now? Literally to a person, their answer was, we heard about it on Facebook. I don't think a one of them mentioned the newspaper or the news. They had heard about it on Facebook. Go ahead, Melissa. Boston College, 2009. A number of years ago, Pat Stewart sitting here, we remember some wonderful issues revolving around student email. And this has been 10, 15 plus years ago now, but we actually had a few battles in this state. Would we give student email? What would we do with student email? What's going to happen? Of course, obviously, you know, we ended up doing it. Go ahead, Melissa. And in 2009, Boston College stopped issuing student email. The reason why? Social media worked much better. They got a much better response. They got much more attention from their students using social media. My daughter is a senior in high school. She's got 10 different email accounts. I can send her an email at the end of the day. Cameron, did you read your email? No, I'll go read it. But if I send her a text, usually a matter of seconds. Usually a matter of seconds, I got a response. Okay. Second largest search engine in the world. This surprised me. Does anybody know this?
Facebook.
Facebook? Ooh, that's a good guess. Melissa, YouTube. YouTube. Is there anything you want to do that you cannot find on YouTube? I like to try to play guitar, and I can remember times when I used to, man, I wonder how they're doing that lick, and I'd try to go see somebody, and I've gone to concerts and took binoculars to watch how they would chord out a certain song. I don't have to do that anymore. You can go to YouTube and you can find it. Even our technologies are changing within themselves. Heard this one, hadn't you? There's only one problem with that.
Ain't true.
A little misleading. It stays on Twitter and Facebook and Flickr. And I tell you what, folks, and some of you know this, superintendents, it's not only what happens in Vegas, is it? It's what happens in Richardsville, in Scottsville, in Columbia, and in Frankfurt, and everywhere else. There is a permanent record of our lives anymore. How many of you know someone that is in a long-term relationship that started via social media? Please raise your hand. Seriously, I'll raise mine. Yeah. Melissa? 1 in 8 couples married last year met via social media. It's pretty astounding. Pretty astounding. Added this slide late. I think you all know what's happened in Egypt over the past week or so. Hopefully you followed. A lot of those demonstrations, a lot of that activity was kept alive, primarily Twitter. Twitter was the main one. And what did the government try to do? Shut down the internet. Yeah. Because they realized what a powerful, powerful tool was taking place, and they had to control it. Or they thought they could control it, okay? How many of you have heard of Stuxnet? You see your hand if you've heard of Stuxnet. Iran, for years, has been a nuclear menace to the world. Fair statement? We've tried diplomacy, we've tried sanctions, we've tried the threat of military violence. It seemed like nothing could stop the Iranian nuclear threat to the world. In, I believe, November, if I'm not mistaken, the Iranian nuclear reactor computers, the computers that control the nuclear reactors in Iran, were hit with a computer virus. Actually, Bruce, I believe it was a Trojan, wasn't it? But anyway, we'll call it a virus for simplicity. We're hit with a virus. It is estimated 2 years before they recover to where they are. 2 years before those computers in the Iranian nuclear program will get back to where it is. So what the world superpower couldn't do, what diplomacy and sanctions couldn't do, somebody, somewhere, with a computer, took care of that. Of course, right now, Iranians are scrambling to fix that, but don't you imagine the folks that wrote Stuxnet are scrambling too to take care of whatever they take care of? Okay, here's the references to my data. Here's the point, and here's what we're about here today. From the third largest nation of Facebook, to middle-aged women, to Egypt, to nuclear disarmament, I think we've got something here that's worth paying attention to. And surely, it's got a place in our classrooms. Surely we can figure out somehow how all of this begins to work into our classrooms. That's what we want this entire day to be about. To think, discuss, debate, and hopefully walk out of here today with a little bit more knowledge, a little bit more energy, a little bit more context and resources than we came in for. We think you're in for a great day. At this time, I want to introduce our commissioner. Commissioner Holliday comes